good evening and welcome to, in the East, welcome to Thursday, and here in the middle of the sort of like hemisphere-y bit, welcome to Wednesday evening. Some of you guys might have been wondering where I was today. Of course, no midweek show this week. We are in Toulouse tomorrow and Friday. Going to bring you a little bit more information on that in a bit, but let's just cover a little bit of aviation news as we always do on the show. Just starting with, I'll tell you what I need to do. Hold on a minute, just stand by. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so first in the news. Now, a lot of you guys and girls who visit, who come with us to Toulouse regularly, and something that we've noticed recently a lack of, and that is Hainan at London Heathrow. Now, I don't know if that is the case with Manchester. Perhaps somebody can sort of like update us on that one, but it is a little bit concerning because Hainan we've been seeing less and less of. Now they have a huge conglomerate of businesses, and of course they're part of, they own Hong Kong Airlines as well, and of course we've seen the Hong Kong Airlines livery at Toulouse as well on their 339s and also 350s as well. A lot of their tails there at Toulouse anyway, but we're hearing, and this is from Asia Times I'm reading, Hainan may defer taking delivery of jets. China's largest aviation conglomerate is saddled with mounting maturing debt, say Chinese newspapers. China's largest aviation conglomerate, not directly owned by the state, reportedly may defer taking delivery of 4 787 Dreamliner jets from Boeing as it's still saddled with mounting maturing debts. Chinese papers say Hainan's may opt to sell 4 wide-bodied airliners now taking shape at Boeing's plant in Seattle and South Carolina to Vistara, an Indian budget carrier. So that's quite interesting. Seeing a lot of this happening in the industry at the moment, as well of jets being sort of like not delivered, or jets being taken, delivered, then leased on or sold on. This continuing on with this news from Hainan, the 4 jets, each carrying a price tag of $248 million US, as well as the exorbitant costs incurred from delivery and pilot training that HNA is anxious to offload, is a result of its purchasing spree a few years ago. It spent tens of billions of yuan, which I'm not sure if that is the currency there, but mostly borrowed from banks on the purchase of not only advanced long-haul jets, but also sleek office towers and fancy boutique hotels overseas. Prior to the latest rumour, Hainan also leased out a pair of Airbus A350-900 wide-body jets to South African Airways, but has yet to decide what to do with 10 extra A350s that will soon receive from France. So that's what we're seeing at Toulouse, folks. They're still undecided on what's going on with that. So I'm imagining that's why every time we go to Toulouse, we see all those Hainan tails that literally are not moving because obviously Airbus don't want to go and paint these things finally in the full Hainan livery. Their tails are obviously painted at the moment. Who knows, they may go back to base paint. But it is very worrying news there coming from Hainan. We hope that they manage to pull out of it or get government funding, because if they're not part of a government business, then obviously they may be subject to government funding or get a bailout from them. So yeah, great shame for them. So Hainan, don't dream it's over. Anyway, you had to be there. But there we are. It's sung regularly on Big Jet TV anyway. So more news, right, here we go. Here's another one. This is quite good. This is quite funky. I saw this on shared on LinkedIn, and of course a lot of the posts that come on LinkedIn are much like stuff that goes on Facebook and social media. It comes from another source as well. So this one was on, I think it was Aero News, I'm not sure 100%, but they were basically showing a picture of Air France's A350-900s, special liveries. Gilly was mentioning to me about these, that these may be sim liveries, I'm not sure, but I think the first one looks fantastic as a special livery because it's kind of retro. Well, it is retro. And the second one, of course, is looking very decent as a complete change to their current livery, which is a little bit old and outdated. To be honest with you, it's pretty bland in terms of what other airlines are doing in terms of their livery changes. So a big shout out to Air France, folks. If you're seeing that in France, let's get a retro jet painted up on your A350 because it will look fantastic, and of course a lot of other airlines are doing it as well. So it would work very well with the current sort of like retro liveries that are doing the rounds at the moment. So hopefully you'll do that, and also maybe your other 350s that are on order, maybe have them painted up in that new fresh livery, which is the second one down. And I just want to say a quick shout out to Lust ublog, Lustublog, Lust ublog. Apparently he's the guy or she's the guy that rendered those images on Twitter. So they are obviously artist impressions, didn't you know? So Lust ublog, thank you for that. Okay, next one. Interesting. Now, when we were in Los Angeles, we got a little glimpse of the Virgin Australia 777s that were parked up there. Might have seen a couple taxiing. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Of course, you may remember it. But Virgin Australia, CEO said the airline could place an order this year to replace the existing wide bodies that start coming off lease in 2024. So they obviously have to put the orders in now to bring those aircraft into operation by 2024. See how long it takes for an aircraft to be built. Airbus, last time I talked with my contact at Airbus, ran about anything up to 7 years, depending upon what the state of play is with orders and so on and so forth. So both the 6 A330-200s and 5 777-300 ERs would be replaced by a single fleet of either Boeing 787 Dreamliners or Airbus A350. So obviously both Boeing and Airbus are probably scrambling to get to Virgin Australia to sign those deals. And of course, it'd be great to see Boeing sign it up with 787s, and it'd be great to see Airbus 350s. But let's see how those how well they sort of like put their side across in terms of what aircraft is better in terms of fuel burn, economy, eco usage, and so on and so forth. And I'm not going to put my feelings forward in terms of what would look better, what would work better, because both aircraft are absolutely beautiful and they both have their own position in the marketplace, of course. Coronavirus update. Obviously, many major concerns for the World Health Organization currently. It is getting pretty crazy at the moment, and are we sort of like aiming towards that pandemic thing, which would be a real shame. I remember when we were out recently in Spain, after there was an announcement that Cathay Pacific were letting off thousands of staff temporarily without pay for around about a month. It was Lisbon we were in where we heard this news, and that is a great shame. I'm not sure what the update is on that, but basically down to the reason for having concerns with the coronavirus, Cathay Pacific have sort of like pulled back in order to cover the cost, I'd imagine, of the reduction in flights that are going out to China because of all these issues. So because obviously for an airline it means less flights means less revenue, so therefore they have to still pay their staff, and of course Cathay Pacific have taken that massive leap by laying off thousands of staff, a cabin crew, but only temporarily. They did say for around about a month. But KLM are the latest airline to address their cabin crews. And this one from Air Cargo News on LinkedIn. KLM urges staff to cut costs as coronavirus effect hits business. The Dutch operator will cut back on hiring new staff and external consultants, delay new IT projects and office refurbishment plans, and reduce travel expenses significantly, Chief Financial Officer Eric Swellheim said in an internal letter to management. He says the impact of the coronavirus outbreak on KLM's revenues will be very significant and will only partly be mitigated by lower costs and a lower fuel price. So hoping that the fuel prices will drop, the price of oil may drop, who knows, but they're hoping for that. We urge, and this is him obviously speaking to his staff, we urge you all to reduce your cost levels to a minimum level to ensure safe operations. Only must-do expenditure is allowed. Staff have been asked to take vacation days to reduce spending as flight schedules continue to be hurt by reduced air travel. KLM has shut down routes to China until the end of March, and Air France KLM warned that costs could run up to €200 million by April. That's pretty significant, and I'm sure we're going to sort of like see that ruption happening throughout the airline industries as this whole thing carries on and gathers pace. I'm hoping, obviously, as we all are, that it gets dealt with. And that it can be contained and dealt with, and we can all move on from it. Really crossing our fingers on that one, because obviously, you know, for everybody from every walk of life, it can affect them. So here's another one, just coming out of that, a bit more light-heartedness, a bit more aviation news, so to speak. Qantas. Something interesting coming out of Qantas regarding the 737 MAX program. They are hinting on 737 MAX as an option for future narrow-body fleets. This is from CH Aviation on LinkedIn. I like to give these guys props because they deserve it, and of course I get a lot of my news from LinkedIn as well. This is what they're saying. Qantas will consider the 737 MAX in its future narrow-body aircraft procurement plan and could benefit from lower prices offered by Boeing due to the type's poor reputation. Qantas Group Chief Executive Alan Joyce told the Sydney Morning Herald. He says, and I'm not going to do it in an Aussie accent because I think that would be a little bit disrespectful. If you look at it from an opportunity point of view, given the aircraft is going to be very safe, what will Boeing do to get the safest airline in the world to buy the aircraft? He said, hinting that Boeing could offer better prices than Airbus. In my view, it's more a case of Boeing having to offer lower prices. We've heard about that already from a lot of people, that Boeing are going to be slashing the price of the 737 MAX, and of course the follow-on financial implications that they're going to be involved in for many, many years to come in terms of paying back the airlines that they have disrupted, and all of the leasing and so on and so forth, aircraft on ground, all that kind of stuff. It's just costing them millions a day. Obviously they have contingency budgets, but they have had to borrow significant amount of money recently to cover those costs and look at future outlays of finances. So hopefully that will work for them. Of course, Airbus will be knocking on their door at Qantas. You know that when they get news of that. So you know, it is quite interesting, that little battle. There's now big battles going on between Airbus and Boeing, and you know, may the best man or woman win, best manufacturer win. But I'd like to see an even playing field in terms of aircraft flying. We want to see the Max back. I remember when we saw it for the first time. I think it was LOT or Air Canada, one of the two that flew into London Heathrow, and wow, what a shot that was. It was great to see, and we'd love to see it back flying in the skies again. So as soon as they can, obviously the latest issue that we heard recently was that contamination in the fuel tanks was found on one of the aircraft. So Boeing are now having another issue in having to examine all of the aircraft that are on the ground and all the aircraft that are in the line of manufacturing. Every single aircraft that's out there, and there are hundreds of them, will need all of their fuel tanks examined. Apparently there's some debris in there from either engineering, machining, what have you, whatever that might be in there, those microscopic stuff, be it tiny or just tiny little bits of metal that's come off from the drilling process, the CNCing process. All of that has to be cleaned out thoroughly in the fuel tank, because you cannot, as you know, have contaminated fuel on an aircraft or anything, to be honest about it. Right, okay, we're nearly there, folks. You'll be all right in a minute. Charity update. One of the charities, we've done it today. I was very, very honoured to go out to the Battersea Dogs and Cats Home out there in Battersea. Met up with Emily and Emma, and a couple of the doggies as well, and cats as well. It was great to see. Always breaks my heart when I go to places like this. But it was wonderful to see. One of the ladies, I asked her if I could film inside the little cubicles where the cats are, and she came over and she saw this cat. She had this cat which she loved, and it loved her as well. You'll see this in the video just now. It looked a bit like Chachi, my cat, as well, which is quite interesting, and you'll see what I'm talking about, those of you who know what Chachi looks like. Yeah, and of course Rambo. They said, right, I said, can we take one of the dogs for a walk, just to sort of like shoot a bit of B-roll, so I can sort of like run that in the video? And they said, yeah, we're going to get Rambo down, and I was expecting this big old Rottweiler to come around the corner, but you'll see exactly what he is when he comes around there. The presentation of the check was not with Rambo. The Rambo was the dog that we took for a walk, and which you see me petting as well. But yes, fantastic. Where I'm standing in front of, incidentally, the building that I'm standing in front of, presenting the check with Emily and Emma, is actually the original Battersea Dogs Home. And downstairs, the door downstairs, is actually the old cattery. So you see how small it was back in, I don't know when, the Victorian. It's actually a protected building as well. So it's great to see. Here is the little video that I've put together, just to show you guys what we did this afternoon. Here it is. Okay, there you go. I tell you, honestly, the little piece of slow-mo with the dog in the reception area, I was welling up, folks, when I made that. I literally was welling. I had to get up and walk away because the old tears were starting to flow. But it's, you know, why? I don't know, because the dog was happy because he was going out with his new owner, and it was great to see. Thank you so much to the guys at Battersea for putting this together, but this is all down to you, the members. Thank you so much once again. I know it's taken a long time to put together, but Battersea have just said dear Jerry, and I believe Emily's on the chat right now. So hello, Emily, and thank you once again. It was great to meet up with you. And she's got a little sausage dog, is Emily. Well, no, not a flatmate, but it's anyway. Dear Jerry and members of Big Jet TV, thank you so much for your amazing donation of £630 to Battersea, raised at Big Jet TV's fundraising show on Christmas Day. We really appreciate it. We are incredibly grateful for your contribution. Your support means so much to the dogs and cats here at the charity and really does make a big difference to our animals. And of course, I think when I was discussing things with Emily, they got around about 1,000 volunteers. A number of staff, of course, but 1,000 volunteers. Really, really, great people to do that. And of course, volunteers all over the world working for museums and so on and so forth. But it is great to see you guys working there at Battersea, and thank you so much for everything you do. We really appreciate it. So anybody who wants to see that, you're more than welcome to. Thank you again to the guys there. We really appreciate. And I will continue, obviously, to look after Battersea Dogs Home Dogs and Cats Home as best as I can, because obviously I have a rescue cat myself, and we are always, good to the animals here on Big Jet TV. So thank you once again to Emily and everybody at Battersea Dogs and Cats Home. So that's part one of the check presentation procedures. Tomorrow morning I'm flying on BA. I'm still waiting, folks. We've finally had a contact from BA, but it's just fallen flat on its face. I don't know what's happened. It is frustrating, massively frustrating, that you try and give this money away, and yet there are still procedures that need to be put in place. So I'm going to try and make the presentation tomorrow morning on the flight when I get to the French end with the flight. Once everybody's off the plane, I'm going to speak to the crew before we fly out, just to say, look, guys, can we do this? Can we take the picture? And then obviously I'll forward that and get that done and approved by the press team, because you have to do everything above board. But hopefully the guys and girls will be happy to do that with me tomorrow morning. So at least we'll get the presentation done, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to present it on an aircraft. So we'll go ahead tomorrow morning, hopefully get that done, and then if it all goes well, we can send that through for approval and get that done and get that money across to British Airways and the Flying Start Foundation. Flying Start Children's Foundation is where we're trying to put it, folks. So finally, here we go, tomorrow and Friday, folks. Now, I'm expecting some pretty harsh conditions up on the hill tomorrow at Toulouse. It's sounding like I'm going to have sort of 50-mile-an-hour winds straight at me. I'm taking straps with me. I'm taking the whole lot with me. I'm going to get battered up on that hill. But just for you folks, it might mean that Airbus flight training or whoever turn around and go, oh, this is great. We've got some crosswind landing exercises that we can do. Here's an opportunity to take advantage of those crosswinds. So who knows? It might turn out to be pretty cool. But at the end of the day, the show must go on at Airbus. They've got to get their deliveries out there. They've got to carry on with their business. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever it might be, it's still going to carry on. So I will be up there looking after you folks, as I've done before many times with harsh weather conditions. But just here's a little look back to give you guys and girls, if you're new to Big Jet TV and you haven't been on one of our shows yet in Toulouse in southern France. This is the Airbus facility where they assemble the aircraft. A320, A319, 318, 350 and A330. And we're going to start seeing the 338s soon as well. So tomorrow we're hoping to see, or tomorrow and Friday, we're hoping to see a number of different aircraft that we've been reading about and seeing on Facebook and a couple of YouTube videos, but nothing much significant. that's coming out video-wise, mainly all images. So like Aeroflot's A350, SAS's next 350, Aer Lingus's A330 CEO, which we're looking out for, and of course all the other stuff that goes on there. I'll be there tomorrow morning. We're hoping to be live around about 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 a.m. Is that right, GP? That sounds. I'm arriving there about 11. I'm getting up on the hill about 11. So, or is it? I'm getting up on the hill about 12. Yeah, I think we're looking at probably an 11 a.m. start in the UK. I'm going to be up on the hill around about midday. Now, if you're regular to Big Jet TV and you're regular to our Toulouse shows, you'll know that they do like to take a long extended lunch break out in France. So the chances are we'll see not much going on there between sort of 12 and 2. So it might be a bit of a slow start, as you know. It might not be. It might be. It might all be all systems go. Lots of stuff being thrown around the airfield. So let's hope that that's going to be happening. It gives me time to set up and get the straps in and get strapped down, all the waterproofing systems set in place, and then we'll have a show right the way through till nightfall, well, until 5 o'clock anyway, when these guys sign off. Sometimes it runs a little bit later. Of course, the nights are getting longer now, so we're possibly looking at maybe up to 6 o'clock. Then in the morning on Friday, we will be looking at a sort of round about a 9 a.m. start, between 8 and 9 a.m. start in the UK. 10 o'clock local out in France, and I'll be running all the way through till around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're bound to get some good stuff, some good decent stuff, but just to give you guys an idea of what you're likely to see, here's the piece that we did for last September from Toulouse. This is what it is. Run VTGP. Stand by. The cockpit fit out section of special livery. That's very interesting. Wow. She's moving, she's moving. Come on, son! Interesting. Okay, now it's good. Now it's good. Now it's good. same as on the A220. It's a 319neo, folks. Look at this. Right. Okay, but I am now. Okay, there you go, folks. So that's the kind of thing we expect to see tomorrow, which is quite interesting when you see that little rack. We call it the Ram air turbine. It's a little like windmill type generator that drops down underneath the aircraft if they lose electrical power, and especially if they lose an engine, if they go lose one engine, the other engine, if it's the non-powering engine, if you know what I mean, they can drop that Ram air turbine, and it generates electricity and power to power the pumps and hydraulics and so on and so forth. But it'll be good. It'll be good. So that's where you're going to see touch and go, touch and go. We've seen a lot of that, folks. I mean, that one that you saw at Heathrow, we've had our fair share of touch and goes, especially one time back last summer with the A380 when it was doing pilot training, and we saw some great touch and go exercises there. And we see it regularly. So, and also there's some high altitude tests going on with the A350-1000 family aircraft, which we're expecting to see. So we're expecting to see it going out anyway, and it'll probably be gone for a good couple of hours, or 2 or 3, sometimes 4 hours. But anyway, British Airways, come on, boys and girls. Pull your finger out, boys and girls. I want to give this check to you tomorrow. I've even dated it, look. So there's your check for tomorrow, British Airways. Pull your finger out and let's get that check and that money into you out there. Finally, fan zone on Big Jet TV. Jerry Dyer's Big Jet TV official fan zone. Great to see so many people getting involved in that. Anyone's welcome, folks. All you've got to do is make sure that you agree to the terms and conditions. It's very, very simple. Agree and then you're in. If you don't agree, you're not coming in. Other than that, but it's great to see so many people getting involved. I was going to do sort of like some stuff, but by the time, if I'd have sort of like put something together yesterday, it will be miles down because of so many different things that are going on. Keep the chat on topic, of course. We don't want to know that you had a fish finger that looks like a jumbo jet, things like that. We want to all talk about like a lot of people doing sort of like, you know, guess the airport, guess the aircraft and all that kind of thing. Great to see that. Neil Burtonshaw, thank you. James Hasty bought himself a new model. Looks like Icelandair's 757 with the Aurora livery. Darren Moston, Hodgson, Paul Hodgson making some multiple spam, son. Put them all on one post. Don't keep spamming it, me old son. Lee Russell talking about his aircraft being delayed. Paul Hodgson again. Paul Hodgson again. Matty Wellings, there we go. Smithy's in there. Mikey Van Der Aaron's got a beautiful picture of DC-8, KLM DC-8 fleet history, 1960 to 1985. Stuart Howell, forgot to share this a while ago. Check out this contraption for boarding. I've seen that, Stuart. I actually went on one. It was insane. It's like the longest set of steps in the world just to get like 5 feet up. It was like, you know, it's just insane, man, insane. Where was that? Where was that? I think that might have been Toulouse, you know. Or no, I don't know. But it was pretty crazy, man. It was Gatwick. It was Gatwick. It was Gatwick getting on EasyChat. It was. You're right. Yes. Smithy putting up a post with the with that duck, which the duck looks like a, I can't tell what that is. Is that a triple or a 330? But anyway, Ron De Jager getting involved. Bob Copsey, Tommy Ernst, of course. Waz Bogey, so many different topics going on in there, and all keeping it all news related. Their images. You guys who walk around the perimeter at Heathrow, I see you taking your snaps sometimes. Throw some of them up in here, because I don't know where you put them, whether you just keep them to yourselves, or where you put them, maybe up on London spotting pages. But share them on here, folks, because we'd love to see them. And don't be shy, folks. Come in here, because a lot of people make great friends on Big Jet TV, and it's always great to see you guys getting involved. Malcolm Rouse, Lee Smythe. I remember that was a classic from the other day. Lee Smythe putting up a shot from JFK in 1968. Monday morning departures. Just a massive lineup of 707s and DC-8s. One little 727 tucked in there in the lineup. But what a fantastic shot. Thank you, Lee Smythe. More on that stuff, please, folks. We really appreciate it. So, there you go. Members, we will see you tomorrow morning in Toulouse. Flight details will be posted tomorrow morning if you want to track me. It's going to be an early flight though. But other than that, look forward to seeing you. Be good to yourselves, be good to the animals, enjoy your evening, and what's coming up next? Oh! Yes, sorry, thanks, Julie. Yes, executive premiere tonight, folks. Frankfurt. The one that we haven't, that we went out to Frankfurt last month. I think it was the 24th, was it? Or the 27th? 23rd and 24th, wasn't it? Yeah. 23rd at Lisbon, which we've already done, and 24th at Frankfurt. This is coming up for all our executive first class and super class members. 8 o'clock in around about 20 minutes, folks. I'll be watching it with you. It is from all 3 positions that we did there at Frankfurt. And a lot of people like getting involved in this as well, because sometimes they can sit back and relax after a long day's work, or early morning, wherever you are. But that's coming up. Also, folks, we'll update you on this, but next month we've got, for members, Los Angeles. We're going back to Los Angeles, and then we're going to go to San Francisco. So we've got 2 days in LAX, and then we're going up to San Fran to be with our members up there. So two international shows in the space of 3 days, literally, coming up next month. But for now, we will, if you're not going to join us now, we'll see you in Toulouse tomorrow. Otherwise, executive members will see you in around about 20 minutes on Big Jet TV for Frankfurt, the best of. See you later. Take it easy. Cheers. Bye.